we all know what wag the dog actually means, but I think the dog is definitely wagging at us. When we look at the network coverage of this Maryland gangster, they have martyred him to the, he's not even dead and they're martyred him. Let's talk to Jeff Dickens, Director of Media Analysis at MRC Newsbusters. It just keeps, they're piling on like a bunch of hyenas. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. This is nuts to me. Due process for what? You're not an American.
Right. As you pointed out, the media has been, since this case sort of started, they dubbed him, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, as, he's simply a Maryland man. His Maryland dad is another label they put on him. What they rarely talk about is the fact that he's an accused member of MS-13 gang, which I don't know if your listeners know is like one of the most violent. It's been dubbed a terrorist group. They're so violent.
Yeah.
And so what we did at the MRC is we looked at the network coverage, ABC, CBS, and NBC, their morning and evening shows. And from April 1st to April 23rd, they talked about this, quote, Maryland man, 143 minutes and 24 seconds. And they did that. They filled their shows with that because they wanted to bash Trump and say the Trump administration was out of control and that we was mistakenly deported. But we also looked at another Maryland case, the case of Rachel Morin, who was the mother of 5 who was tragically murdered by an illegal immigrant.
Beautiful woman.
Yes. And how much time did the network spend around the exact same time, from April 1 to April 23? Only 12 seconds.
See, that just makes me so mad because this guy deserved to be deported. I don't know if he was supposed to go to El Salvador, where he's supposed to go, but he was here illegally. Just because he established his life here does not mean that he gets to stay here. He came here illegally. Now, I understand that people want a process and a way to become Americanized and to become citizens that isn't as expensive or as long. I get that, but right now it doesn't exist, so you've got to take the right road. Plus, you can't be a terrorist. We can't just let terrorists come to the United States. I just posted 100 people who have been kicked out of the country who are violent pedophiles, rapists, murderers, and so much more, and I haven't heard a whisper about any of them except this Maryland guy.
You're absolutely right. I've been working on this beat a little bit since the last couple of years of the Biden administration. Like all of these cases that you pointed out of these crimes and everything from murders to rapes to drunken drivers that have killed people in car crashes, and they don't get coverage on the quote unquote legacy media, and it's a big problem.
Why? I mean, I get Trump derangement. We all get that. We understand it. We know it exists. It's a real thing. It's absolutely a fact. But where are they finding so many reporters who are willing to make complete asinines of themselves to report like this? Because we know they're lying.
Yeah. Well, there's something interesting that happened. I'll sort of peel back the curtain a little bit. And we've always made the contention here at the MRC that the legacy media, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, PBS, MSNBC, they basically work hand in hand with the Democratic Party. So they really thought they had a winning issue here with this quote-unquote mistakenly deported man. And so they filled their airwaves with it. But it's interesting. As soon as you started seeing some Democrats, like even Gavin Newsom, saying, maybe we should stop Democrats being Democrats, trying to protect this illegal immigrant because it doesn't seem to be working politically. They kind of stopped covering them because they covered Senator Chris Van Hollen, the Maryland senator, going down to El Salvador. But then there's some House Democrats followed, and they didn't get the same amount of coverage. I think they got the message. The media, the legacy media, got the message from the Democrats. Maybe to stop doing this issue because it's hurting us.
Well, how about they pay back every stinking penny of the taxpayer money they used to go over there to talk to him? I don't want to pay for that.
Right. No. Yeah. It was their big shameless. I call it a shameless political stunt that Senator Van Hollen did. And this was the gentleman the senator who's in Maryland, his constituents, Rachel Morin, was murdered. He didn't have anything to say about her until he was called on it by the mother of Rachel Morin. And she came and talked to the White House press corps, and all that generated was 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Was the mother of Rachel Morin. I mean, and she was standing right there in front of all the entire White House press corps.
Listening to her mother talk, I don't know about you, but I got the boo-boo face big time. That was rough to listen to. Mother of 5, beautiful woman, had her whole life ahead of her. Her children don't have a mother now. The grandmother's going to have to raise 5 more children. I mean, this is horrific and tragic stuff that got no news time. Now, granted, this MS-13 gang member had a wife and a child, and I know a lot of gang members back in the day when I lived in Los Angeles who were married and had children. Didn't make them good people.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point that they don't seem to want to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because, yeah, right.
It just drives me crazy. So what are we going to do about this? Because it's hard to fight it, because even Jen Psaki said, we know we're liberal, and we do what we do because we know that's what the people who are watching want to hear and see, because they're liberal too and they hate Trump. So that's why we do it. And I'm like, well, at least you said it out loud.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think as long as your listeners go to people like here, MRC and Newsbusters, continue to listen to your show, they get the truth, and they can talk to their neighbors, they can talk to their colleagues, and say, and if they push back against this narrative, if they start hearing it back from them. So I think the best thing is just word of mouth. It's like, hey, by the way, Abrego Garcia, he's not the most innocent guy in the world. Let me tell you about him. Things like that.
Yeah, well, not only is he not the most innocent guy in the world, he just beat up his wife and hit his mother-in-law.
That's right. That's also too. They've kind of talked about that, but they sort of it's very brief mentions in these stories. They basically went through and tried to say oh, Donald Trump's out of control. He's deporting all these people, and it turns out actually a lot of all these people deserve to be deported.
Yeah, he ran on that. I mean, he ran on it. They keep talking about his approval rating on the tariffs, and they keep bringing that up, but they will not tell you how many businesses are beating down the door to get to us to say, we want your stuff manufactured. We'll take it. We'll agree to equal tariffs. Let's do this thing. All they talk about is China, and the news coverage does affect Wall Street. And I don't know if you've heard in the last, 50 years that liberals are supposed to hate rich people, and yet a lot of the people who run their party are rich people who are getting smacked in the butt on this Wall Street deal, and so they're mad about it, so they want it covered more.
Right. Well, now you're talking about that. I mean, George Soros and the Soros family, they talk about your rich elites. We've done I recommend that you just come check out all of the articles we've done about Soros. Mm-hmm. And it's nefarious. So you want to know part of the problem we've had, this illegal immigration problem in the last 20, 30 years? It's him.
Yeah.
And
his kid's going to be even worse. So prepare for that. Once the old bleeding eye guy knocks off, we're going to have somebody even worse. So we have to just stop for a second, take a breath, let the tariff thing work itself out. China is just a gigantic jerk, and that's all they're ever going to be. Russia, the Ukraine, all of that matters, but we're the only ones talking to both sides trying to shut it down. So when you listen to the news coverage of this Maryland man, I sit and I think, there are 17 other things I'd rather listen to than this Maryland man. Right.
Well, the reason they did it is because they thought that it was going to be a way to portray Donald Trump and the administration as cruel and as needing to be voted out of office and Republicans in the next midterms. And it boomeranged on them.
Yeah.
People realize, this is what we voted for. We want to get these criminals that shouldn't be here in the first place. And a lot of these illegal immigrants, they've been deported multiple times. and it's just they keep coming back in. So I think this is the case with the man this monster that killed Rachel Morin.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what's going on?
And that guy was scary looking, too. He looked like he was here simply to kill. I was like, dang, if I saw him on the street, I'd run like Freddy Krueger was here. But the network spent 717 times more airtime on this gang member.
Yeah, no, and the I don't want to spare the grisly details, but yeah, the guy that killed Morin, he waited for her on a jogging trail in the woods, like he was prey. It was just, and then what he did to her was just awful. It's unspeakable. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
it was just awful.
You can't. But I mean, if you just take a moment and listen to Rachel's mother and what she had to say, then you make your own ideas to whether or not the news service has decided that what's your best interest in knowing is what's being available to you. But when there's zero coverage on CBS and ABC about Rachel Morin, you know there's a problem.
Absolutely. And, and again, the fact that the mother spoke in front of the White House press corps, and it got almost nothing, 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Not even
and
the mother.
That was on NBC. CBS, ABC didn't touch it. Sadly, I'm an affiliate of ABC. But I want to remind people, we know that the guy sent to El Salvador was a human being. We get that part. He's also on a list of MS-13 gang members. He's got all the tats. He's done the crimes. He is a violent man, and he's not supposed to be in the U.S. He's here illegally. So all of your sympathy for him as a human being, note taken, but still don't agree with you. Was he supposed to not go to El Salvador? Is he from somewhere else? What's the problem?
Oh, so yeah, that was an important detail the media deliberately left out in their coverage, because he was not supposed to go back to El Salvador because the judge gave him the writ sort of an exception, because the concern was that if he got sent back to El Salvador, he might be killed by a rival gang. Gee, I wonder what would make him so concerning to a rival gang. Maybe because he's a gang member himself.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. You don't have to deport him to El Salvador. You can deport him to a different country. But the point is, even if he got sent back there, he's going to get sent back out to maybe a different country, because he's an illegal immigrant. He's not a citizen.
You know,
he's not ever coming back.
If they don't keep him in a jail, he's going to sneak back in anyway. I mean, we've deported people 9, 10, 11, 19 times. I mean, they just keep coming back because the border was so porous and the Biden administration would not do anything. We're down 94% of illegal crossings since Trump took over. That speaks volumes.
Absolutely. And that's something else that's not getting reported as much.
Yeah. Well, it is here, because I think it's something to cheer about. All right, Jeffrey Dickens, Director of Media Analysis at MRC Newsbusters. Not as just this Maryland man gig for the liberal news media is running out of steam, so they're going to have to come up with the next thing, and I'm sure you guys will have it.
Oh, absolutely, and please go to our website to see the research by my colleague Rich Noyes about the first 100 days of the new Trump administration. It's once again very negative.
Yeah, that's just how they cover Republicans. They've done it since Reagan. It's never gonna. But they've done it since Nixon. I mean, we could go back to forever. That's just how they've covered them. But it is what it is. We know the truth. Jeff Dickens, MRC Newsbusters. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.